Use my code PAID10 to get 10% off your next order of Advanced GG. The Lionfish 4FR is one of the best fusion rifles in Destiny 2's Edge of Fate, and it's definitely a contender to replace your current favorite fusion rifle in that kinetic slot. Riptide fusion rifle? F you. Deliverance fusion rifle? Suck my ass. There's a new top dog in town, and in this video I'm going to go over why I think you guys should farm one and what roles you should be looking for. So Guardians, let's get into this.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
So the Lionfish fusion rifle drops from the Pinnacle playlist over in the Portal tab. It is just a random drop from doing any one of these exotic missions, or if you're lucky, it'll actually be the featured reward. Now, the Lionfish 4FR is a legendary kinetic fusion rifle that does stasis damage, which is why I mentioned the Riptide and the Deliverance, because these two were previously the top dogs when it came to stasis fusion rifles. Now, the Lionfish is a rapid frame just like the Riptide, and as you can see, the Lionfish has a better stability, better handling, better reload speed, bigger ammo generation, better airborne effectiveness, higher aim assist, better recoil direction. The Lionfish is just better in almost every single way. The Deliverance is actually a precision frame, which is why the stats are better on it. So if you guys prefer those rapid fire frames, the Lionfish is the clear winner. The Lionfish is going to be rolling with 3 basic origin traits. The first one called Problem Solver, dealing sustained damage to a champion, mini boss, or boss combatants, exhausts them and grants this weapon handling and reload speed. Exhausted targets deal reduced outgoing damage. So we got Carl Dummy of Practice over here. We get a few shots off on him. You can see he starts to glow pink there. That means he is exhausted and he's going to be doing less damage to you. Very helpful in PvE. Then we have Vanguard Determination. After using your class ability, final blows with this weapon grant you bonus damage resistance. And then we also have Vice Stinger. Damaging an enemy with this weapon has a small chance to reload the magazine and increase movement speed while aiming down sights. It's going to refill 25% of the magazine from reserve on activation, 10% decreased ADS movement speed penalty. Was doing some testing on this earlier and I wasn't really getting this to activate very often. You can see I just fired off a whole magazine and I didn't even get Vice Stinger to activate. Fired off a whole nother magazine. Vice Stinger once again did not activate. And another whole magazine and it did not activate. So I don't know if Vice Stinger is bugged or it just really sucks on this weapon. I would probably just stick with Problem Solver for the meantime. Now in the first column of trait perks, we have Rhyme Stealer, Proximity Power, Transcendent Moment, Reconstruction, Lead from Gold, and Subsistence. Rhyme Stealer states that destroying a crystal or defeating a frozen target with this weapon grants you Frost Armor, and each stack of Frost Armor is going to give you a 6.25% damage resist, and this will stack up to 5 times, giving you a 31.2% damage resist, which is really good. Then you have Proximity Power. When targets are nearby, final blows grant bonus melee stat. This is actually a really good perk if you guys are running a melee build and you can't quite get to like 200. You could run this perk and then invest your mods and stats into other areas. Transcendent Moment. Final blows grant stats based on the weapon's damage type alignment. Light elements grant stability and handling. Dark elements grant range and aim assist. While Transcendent, this weapon gets both bonuses. Then we have Reconstruction. This weapon slowly reloads itself over time up to double the capacity. So every 6 seconds while not firing this weapon, it loads 25% of the magazine capacity rounded up into the magazine from reserves. Then we have Lead from Gold. Picking up a heavy ammo also grants ammo to this weapon. Heavy ammo pickups grant 25% of your maximum special ammo reserves even while the weapon is stowed. And then we have Subsistence. Defeating targets partially reloads the magazine from reserves. Weapon kills refill 10% of the magazine rounded up from reserves. Then in the last column of trait perks, we have Chill Clip. Direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets. I've got Chill Clip on this fusion rifle, so as you can see, we get a hit and then these guys are slowed. and the radius is pretty forgiving. Then we also have a reservoir burst. When the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death. While your magazine is at or above maximum capacity, it grants 25% increased damage and causes enemies to explode on death. Then we have Binary Orbit. Elemental Final Blows opposite this weapon increase damage for a short duration. Darkness Final Blows boost Arc, Solar, and Void weapons. Light Final Blows boost Stasis, Strand, and Kinetic weapons. Scoring Elemental Alignment kills grants a 25% increased damage for 8.5 seconds. Then we have Controlled Burst. Landing every shot in the burst grants this weapon increased damage and reduced charge time for a short duration. Upon scoring a kill or hitting every shot in a burst, it grants a 20% increased damage and 10% decreased charge time. We also have Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus. This bonus is increased for kinetic weapons. So since this does have the stasis element, when this stacks 5 times, you're going to get a 35% increase to damage. Then we have Swashbuckler. This weapon grants increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. This stacks up to 5 times, and at a 5 times stack, you're going to get a 33.3% increase to your weapon damage. So what is the god roll for the Lionfish 4FR? When it comes to PvE, I would go something like maybe Corkscrew Rifling, gives you more stability, range, and handling. You could also go with Enhanced Battery to increase the magazine size. In the first column of trait perks, Reconstruction is going to be really good. A lot of people are going to go for this, but let's not ignore Lead from Gold. If you guys want to just main this weapon, you are going to be running into some ammo issues. So being able to also pick up heavy ammo and get special ammo for that heavy brick is going to be very beneficial. Now the ammo generation stat on this is 52, which is pretty high for a legendary. So if you add just one reserve mod, that's going to bump it up to 72. And if you do 2 Stasis reserve mods, gonna bump it up all the way to 92, which I highly suggest you put 2 reserve mods on here. You will literally be able to print ammo. And then in the last column, you go with Chill Clip, and you're gonna wanna add this weapon mod called Temporal Loader. This weapon loads ammo from reserves when dealing damage to targets that are slowed, frozen, or suspended. So if you keep an eye on the lower left and look at my ammo, if every time I shoot, I just get my shot back, he's slowed. Shoot him again, it just stays at 7. And it's because of that Temporal Loader mod. You literally just keep Chill Clip the whole entire time, and you're like always gonna have 7 in the mag. That paired with the ammo generation and paired with Lead from Gold, you're pretty much never gonna run out of ammo with this, and you will always have Chill Clip active. Now when it comes to PvP, this does have a pretty low recoil direction sitting at 54, so I would perhaps go with something like Arrowhead Break to bring it up to 84. Then we got Projection Fuse to increase the range by 10. You don't really have too many perks in this column to increase accuracy, which is what you really want on a fusion rifle in the Crucible, but you could go with Transcendent Moment to get that boost to stability and handling. And then you can go with Elemental Honing. Elemental Honing will boost the damage and will just help you get those further one-hit kills. If you're on a Prismatic subclass, it's very easy to stack different elements and get 2 or 3 times stack for a 20% increase in the Crucible. And then for PvP and PvE, I would aim for like a range masterwork. And for PvE, maybe put a backup mag on here to get the magazine as high as possible. And for PvP, perhaps a counterbalance stock to get the recoil direction almost all the way up to 100. So Guardians, those are my thoughts and my opinions on the Lionfish. It is definitely a contender for the best fusion rifle in Destiny 2 The Edge of Fate. Highly suggest you guys go into Pinnacle Ops and try to farm one. That's going to do it for the review. If you guys are new here, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys around the channel.